Hello students, welcome to today's session. So in today's session, let us start our discussion with a new topic. The new topic is called fluids. Okay. So here in this topic, we shall learn about fluids. We shall discuss about the forces exerted by a fluid. We shall discuss about some very important principles and laws related to fluid. So let us start with the topic fluids. So first of all, we should know what is a fluid. So fluid means anything, any substance. You can say any substance that flows. Any substance that flows is a fluid. Okay. Suppose for example, you can say liquids and gases are fluids, because we know liquid flows as well as gas flows. Okay. So these liquids and gases are called fluids. Clear or not? Okay. Now our new topic of discussion is the difference of the pressure that is exerted by a solid and a fluid. Okay, both exerts pressure. Solids, as we have learnt earlier, it exerts pressure. A fluid also exerts pressure, but what is the difference between them? Okay, so here you see I have written it down. Difference of pressure exerted by a solid and a fluid. First one, for solid, you see solid exerts pressure on the surface on which it is kept. Suppose I take a solid, suppose this one, I place it on my hand, then this solid exerts pressure on the surface on which I have placed it. That means it is exerting the pressure on my hand. But what about fluids? You see here fluids exerts pressure on the bottom of the container as well as on the walls of the container. So we know that we have to keep the fluids in a container. You have to hold the fluids in a container. Suppose you take this one, this is a container, and here you put, let us take the example of liquid. I have put liquid on the container. So what happens, this liquid not only exerts pressure on the bottom, not only it exerts pressure on the bottom of the container, but it also exerts pressure on the walls of the container. Understood? So this is the difference of the pressure exerted by a solid and a fluid. A solid only exerts pressure on the surface. Solid, suppose a block, it only exerts pressure on the surface on which it is kept. But a fluid exerts pressure on the bottom, that means on the surface, as well as on the walls of the container. Clear? Okay. Now let us discuss a very important law related to pressure exerted by a fluid. Okay, the law is called the Pascal's law. Here you see I have already written it, Pascal's law. Pressure exerted on a mass of confined fluid. What do you mean by confined? Confined means the fluid is trapped, it is not allowed to flow. So pressure exerted on a mass of confined fluid is transmitted undiminished in all direction. Okay, you can confine a fluid by putting it inside a container which is not allowed to flow. So when you apply pressure on a confined fluid, that pressure is transmitted in all directions equally. Okay, that is the Pascal's law. See, suppose I consider a spherical container. Suppose there is an outlet here. Here we consider 4 outlets. See here. Now in this outlet we take a piston. You know piston? I think you have seen a piston. Engines, motor car engine has piston which goes up and down. Okay, so this is a piston. Similarly here also in this outlet we consider a piston. Here this one is a piston. Similarly here we consider a piston. and here also the fourth piston. Okay, and this whole container is filled up with a liquid. Okay, I have taken a liquid inside this spherical container which contains 4 outlets, and pistons are fitted to the 4 outlets. Clear? Now what I do is I will apply a force here. Suppose I apply F1, and suppose the area of this piston, the cross sectional area, it is round. So the cross sectional area of this piston, suppose I take it as A1. So what will be the pressure exerted by this piston on the liquid? Suppose P1 will be equal to F1 by A1. Clear? Now when I press it inside inwards, what will happen? This piston will go outward because the fluid, the liquid will exert a pressure on the pistons in the outward direction. That means it will exert a pressure in the, we can say not pressure, we can say force. It will exert a force in the outward direction. If you put it push it inwards, these 3 pistons will tend to move outwards. Suppose here the force exerted here is F2 and the area of this piston is A2. So what will be the pressure on the piston? It will be P2, which is equal to F2 by A2. Similarly here, suppose the force exerted is F3 by the liquid on the piston. So if its area is A3, so P3 will be equal to F3 by A3. And here suppose it is F4 and the area is A4. So what will be the pressure? We know pressure is force per unit area. It will be F4 P4, which is equal to F4 by A4. Now according to Pascal's law, the pressure that is exerted is transmitted in all directions equally. That means what? Therefore from Pascal's law, we can say that P1, that is the pressure, that the inward pressure on the liquid, is equal to P2 is equal to P3 is equal to P4. Okay, the pressure that we are applying on the confined liquid is transmitted in all directions equally. That means the pressure will not diminish, it will not decrease, it will be transmitted equally in all direction. This is the Pascal's law. So here we can say that F1 by A1 will be equal to F2 by A2 will be equal to F3 by A3 will be equal to F4 by A4. Okay, so this one is a very, very important law related to pressure exerted by a fluid. Clear? Okay, now we shall discuss a phenomenon, and this phenomenon exists in fluids only. It does not exist in solids, it exists in fluid only. Okay, so you might have observed that suppose there is a very heavy object, you are holding it on your hand, it is very heavy, but as soon as you put it inside the water and then you hold it, you will feel that the substance has become lighter. Why this is happening? If you hold it in the air, it seems to be very heavy, but as soon as you put it inside a liquid, inside the water, and then you hold it, it becomes lighter. Similarly, if you take a bucket, put it inside the water, the bucket is full with water, but you are keeping it inside the water, you will feel that it is light, but as soon as you take it out of water, the bucket suddenly seems to gain weight. Okay, so why this is happening? This is happening due to a phenomenon which exists in fluids only, known as buoyancy. Okay, so let us discuss buoyancy. Here you see buoyancy. When a substance is immersed in a fluid, it experiences an upward force called buoyant force, and the phenomenon is called buoyancy. Okay, the phenomenon is called buoyancy, and the whenever you put a substance inside the liquid, inside the fluid, it will always experience an upward force. That is why you are unable to feel its actual weight. Suppose here you see, suppose this is a liquid, suppose there is a substance here whose mass is m. So what is the force acting? What is the force acting on the object? That is the downward force, which is called the weight, mg, which is the weight. Weight is the force that is acting on this mass, which is mg. Now if you take the same mass and put it inside the liquid or fluid, same mass, here is the weight will not change, it will be mg. But here what happens, due to this fluid, it will experience an upward force. If the fluid will exert an upward force on the substance in the upward direction, which is called the buoyant force, Fb. It is Fb, not Facebook, it is buoyant force. Okay, so here you see mg is what? The true weight. Mg is the true weight, actual weight. You can say mg is the true weight or actual weight. What is Fb? Fb is the buoyant force. Buoyant force. So what is the net force, or what is the apparent weight? What weight you are feeling? So apparent weight will be what? Will be equal to true weight which is acting downward, true weight minus, since weight and the buoyant force are acting in the opposite direction, so it will be true weight minus buoyant force. Now here you see the apparent weight is less than the true weight or not. That is why the apparent weight is less than the true weight. That is why when you put it inside a liquid, you feel that its weight has decreased, but its weight has not decreased, only a force is exerted by the liquid in the upward direction. This, due to this force only, the weight seems to decrease. Okay, so this weight, the net weight, is called the apparent weight, which is true weight, that is mg, and what is the upward force? That is the buoyant force Fb. Okay, so we can say it is mg minus Fb. So from here we can say that apparent weight is less than true weight. I hope you understood this one. Okay, I am explaining this again. See, when you hold it in the air, what is the weight? It is mg, which is the true weight. That means when you hold it in the air, you are experiencing its true weight. You are experiencing the true weight of the mass of this substance. But when you put it inside the liquid, the weight is there, the true weight is there, but apart from this, there is another force that is acting in the upward direction, which is due to this fluid in the upward direction. Okay, so what happens? The weight seems to decrease. That means that weight that you feel inside the liquid, that weight is called the apparent weight. So the apparent weight is the true weight in the downward direction minus buoyant force in the upward direction. So it is mg minus Fb. Now see, apparent weight is true weight minus buoyant force. So we can say that apparent weight is always less than the true weight. That is why the weight of the substance seems to decrease whenever you immerse it inside a liquid. Okay. Now next is, on what factor does buoyant force depend? So the factor on which it depends is the density. Okay. How it depends, that one I will tell you later on when I will start the Archimedes principle. Now just remember that buoyant force depends on the density. Buoyant force depends on the density of the fluid. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Okay, so any substance, when you immerse it in a liquid, its weight seems to decrease. So that phenomenon, it is due to the upward force that is acting on the substance due to the liquid, and that phenomenon is called buoyancy, and the force that is acting in the upward direction is called the buoyant force. So here I have given the expression in air. We can say that this is in air. In air, mass is m, it is acting in the downward direction. So when you hold this object, you are experiencing its true weight, but when you hold this object, you are not experiencing the true weight, you are experiencing the apparent weight, which is always less than the true weight. Clear? Okay. Now next we shall start a very important principle that is related to fluids, and that principle is called the Archimedes principle. Clear? Okay. So here is the Archimedes principle. When a substance is partially or wholly immersed inside a fluid, it experiences an upthrust. Upthrust means the buoyant force. Okay, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the volume of fluid displaced by it. Okay, you have to understand this principle very nicely, because it will become little bit complicated, or it will become little bit confusing if you don't understand this principle properly. Okay, again I am reading the statement. When a substance is partially or wholly immersed inside a fluid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the volume of fluid displaced by it. Clear? Now see, suppose I take a container. I take a container containing a fluid. Suppose we take a liquid, and here is an outlet. Suppose I take an outlet like this, and here there is a beaker. Okay, now I fill the liquid up to this height, till the height of the outlet. I have filled the container with liquid. Understood? I have taken a container containing an outlet, and from the outlet whatever fluid will flow, it will flow to the, or it will fall down to the beaker. And here I filled this container with a liquid till the height of this outlet. Okay, now suppose we consider a substance. Suppose there is a solid. This is a solid of mass m, and suppose V equal to volume of the solid. Volume of the solid is V. Okay, and suppose this solid has a density, suppose rho equal to density of the solid. Try to understand this properly. Rho is the density of the solid. Here suppose this liquid, we take sigma equal to density of the liquid. Density of the liquid. Okay, now what we do, we put this solid inside this liquid. Suppose I put this solid inside this liquid. As soon as I put this solid inside the liquid, what will happen? Liquid will overflow from here and it will fall down to the beaker, isn't it? Because this solid, when I immerse this solid inside the liquid, this solid will displace some liquid or not, and that liquid will overflow and fall down to the beaker. Suppose this much amount of liquid is collected in the beaker. Now according to Archimedes principle, here suppose we know that whenever a solid is immersed in a liquid, it will experience an upward force. It will experience an upward force which is called what? The bind force, or we say this one is the upthrust. So according to Archimedes principle, this bind force or the upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. How much liquid has been displaced? This much amount of liquid has been displaced. It has removed this much amount of liquid, and this liquid has overflown and it fell down in the beaker. So we can say that here, suppose here ml equal to mass of displaced liquid, mass of displaced liquid. Okay, ml is the mass of the displaced liquid. So according to Archimedes principle, according to Archimedes principle, we can say that it experiences an upthrust. That means what is the upthrust here? Fb is the upthrust. So Fb, that is the bind force, is equal to the weight of the displaced liquid. So how much liquid this object has displaced? This much amount of liquid. So we can say here that it is ml is the mass of the liquid displaced, and g. So g is the acceleration due to gravity. So ml into g is what? The weight of the displaced liquid. Clear or not? If ml is the mass of the displaced liquid, so ml into g is the weight of the displaced liquid. Okay. Now one thing is common to both the solid and the displaced liquid is its volume. That means if V is the volume of solid, that much volume of liquid will only be displaced. There will be no change in volume. There will be change in weight. Weight will be different. The weight of the solid and the weight of the displaced liquid will not be equal. But what will be equal? The volume. If V is the volume of this solid which is immersed, volume means what? It is the space occupied. So how much space it has occupied inside the liquid, that much only liquid will flow out of the beaker, out of this outlet to the beaker. So here we can say that volume of the solid is equal to the volume of the displaced liquid. Okay. Now since volume of solid is equal to volume of displaced liquid, okay. So here we can say that Fb, that is the upthrust, will be equal to, see here what is the volume? V. So we know that mass is what? Density into volume, because density is equal to mass by volume. Density is what? Mass by volume. So mass will be equal to density into volume. So what is the density of the liquid? Because since we are considering the mass of liquid, you have to consider the density of liquid. What is the density? We have taken it sigma. So volume V into density sigma. Volume into density is the mass of the liquid. Okay. V into sigma is ml into g. So we can say this is the expression for the upthrust that is acting on the solid due to the liquid. Okay. We shall discuss more about the principle, the Archimedes principle, in our next class. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you.